Welcome back, everybody. You listen to WHIP Radio in Philadelphia. Zach Gelb here with you. Flying solo today, taking up until noon Eastern time, where the Temple Sports Hour will come your way. Your Temple Owls are going to the American Athletic Conference Championship game, and we're all pumped up to get down to Houston as the Owls will take on the Cougars Saturday at noon Eastern time. And you can listen to the game right here on Philly's #1 college radio station, WHIP. Now joining us on the hotline is the all-time leading tackler in the history of Temple football with 492 tackles. That is our dear friend, Steve Conjar, who joins us right now. Conj, what's happening, my friend?
Good, man. Thanks for having me, and soon to be the second leading tackler in Temple history.
That's right, as Tyler Medikevich has 2 more games left in his illustrious Temple career, and he has 473 tackles. But I want to ask you, because you've been someone that's been around this program for a very long time. You saw this team win when you were on that Garden State Bowl team under the legendary coach in Wayne Harden. And then, of course, you've seen those dark years when you've been tailgating in the parking lot with only 5 other friends and no one's coming to Temple football games. To see this program in the position they're in right now, just what does it mean to you as an historic defensive player for this university?
Well, I'll tell you, it's great. I mean, I never anticipated that. I knew we would have a very good team this year, but I never anticipated that they would win 10 games, let alone some of the games that they weren't expected to win, like Penn State and Cincinnati. But I mean, I'll tell you, the city's in a buzz over this team. I don't quite understand why more people aren't, jumping up for the winner in town. You got the Eagles who,
they stink.
They stink, and they're charging whatever they charge, $110 a ticket. And somebody can come to a Temple game, a team that is 10-2, and could get a ticket for $15-20 and see a great D1 college football team. So. I guess it is what it is, but I'm just tickled to death. I can't believe what's happened here, and just so proud of these guys.
Conj, this is why I love you, because you don't even remember most of the stuff that you even say, because we had you on at the Cherry and White game, and we actually talked about the possibility of Temple football maybe winning 10 wins this year, and you even said that you had a special feeling. I'm going to play this audio for you here real quickly of what you were talking about at Cherry and White.
And we went 10-2. We ranked 17th in the nation, and it's the best team this Temple ever had, the most games that Temple ever had. So, for me, I'm proud of that aspect. But my opinion is we should be 10-2 every year. I mean, that's the type of team that I want here. I mean, I don't want to win 6 games a year or 7 games a year. I want to do better than that. I want our team to be better than other people's teams, and to beat a Penn State and to beat a Notre Dame, and that they take us seriously, because back then they did.
Steve, it's funny. See, we played you that audio, and we talked about the possibility of them winning 10 wins like your Garden State team that won 10 wins, and what it would be like to beat a Penn State or compete with Notre Dame. And you said that your team was the best team in 79 in the history of this university. Now this team has 10 wins. Whose team's better, your 79 team or this year's team?
Nothing like put me on the spot, Zach.
That's what I got to do.
I'm going to go with my 79 team. And I say that only because of the brothers that I know and that still tailgate with me at Temple, that I'd go to war any time with those guys. That's how confident I am in them. But it was a different time and a different era, but I always got to go with my boys.
Yeah, I was just joking with you a little bit. But this is a Temple football team that their defense has always been the strength this year. But when they allowed 40 points to SMU, and then they had the effort up against USF where they didn't win the football game and were allowing a lot of yards on the ground to Flowers and Mack, people were starting to panic. And then they bounced back and hold Paxton Lynch to no touchdowns and had that incredible performance on Saturday night holding UConn to 3 points. What changed with the play of this defense when you take a look at it from the SMU and USF game to these past 2 games?
Well, I'll tell you, unlike other Temple football teams, these guys bounced back. I mean, I don't think anybody anticipated at that Memphis game, and myself included, I was like, boy, this is going to be a rough stretch here, especially, if we lose to Memphis. But that's the thing that these guys do. I mean, they regrouped, they got their stuff together, and they came out there and played football like they're capable of. And I don't know if past Temple teams, normally the past Temple teams just kind of folded up. And these guys don't do that. They're resilient, and they keep playing until the bitter end. And, I mean, how can you not be proud of that?
Now they're going to go up against the best mobile quarterback in the country in Greg Ward Jr. on Saturday. And even playing on a bummed ankle, he put up 308 yards in the air up against a really good Navy team, had 83 on the ground and 4 total touchdowns. Like we were saying, this Temple team struggles up against that mobile quarterback. I don't think you could stop Greg Ward Jr., but how do they contain him on Saturday?
Well, they just got to play their defensive game. And, it seems that their defense hasn't played too well on the road, but I'm anticipating that because of it's a conference championship, that these guys are going to be fired up to no end, and that they're going to come out there and play their game, and hopefully be very focused on the aspect of especially their secondary, covering their receivers, and getting some pass rush on that quarterback, because if they play like they did against Notre Dame, Notre Dame too, but Penn State, where Hackenberg got sacked so many times, if they play that style of aggressiveness, I think that they're not going to have a problem.
We're talking to Steve Conjar, who joins us right now, and I saw you in the parking lot before the game going up against UConn, and you were trying to find Tyler to talk to him when the team was flying into Lincoln Financial Field. I do have to ask you, though, what is your message to Tyler? Because you know what it's like for your college career to come to an end, and I would know you, Steve, just knowing you, you would still wish you're playing for the Owls if you had any eligibility left. So what's your message to Tyler in these final 2 games?
Well, I tell you, it's been a pleasure and a privilege for myself, and I know my teammates, to watch this kid play the game and how he's led this team throughout the year on defense. And, I can't say enough. I just wish him so much success, but the job's not done. He's got 2 games left, the championship and a bowl game, and I'm counting on him to carry this team forward and make sure that these guys play up to their capability and beyond, because, they've just got that mental attitude and that physical toughness that I think that they're proud. They're proud to be Temple Owls, and I think if they keep reflecting that they're not going to have any problem these next 2 games.
You guys were both tackling machines. You had 492 in 3 years. Tyler has 473 and is on pace to break your record. How do you explain, though, 492 tackles in 3 years? Because I wasn't alive to see it, Steve. I just don't get how you accumulate that many tackles in 3 years.
Well, it wasn't really 3 years, because my freshman year, they wanted to redshirt me. Unfortunately, our starting linebacker got hurt, and they did try to save me for a redshirt season, but I had to end up playing my 4th game of my freshman year. So I don't know. I mean, I did okay my freshman year. I had a lot of great inspiration of other defensive people, my peers that were ahead of me, that kind of brought me along. But I don't know. I think my freshman year, I don't know how many tackles I had. It might have been 25, 30 tackles for the remaining 7 games. And then I don't know. I think my sophomore year I had somewhere in the 170s, and it just went from there. And one of the reasons for that is that, I kind of joke about this, but I'm not the tallest guy in the world, and I feel like that my defensive linemen, I could hide behind them. So I made a lot of tackles by not getting hit by anybody, because I think I just stayed behind my big lineman and just swooped in and made a tackle when I could.
This is what such a special part is about this Temple football story, that you guys are still such a close group. Like, I go out to your tailgate, and there's still so many guys that played on that 79 team that are in the parking lot. And you were telling me how when you guys first started those tailgates, which you've been doing it for over 10 years, you and your friend Bobby Hirschman, all those guys, it would only be, about 5-6 people in that parking lot. And now you go to the games and the parking lots are just absolutely filled. Just give me that perspective on how much this program has grown since you've been a guy that's been there since day one.
Wow. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, soup to nuts, because there was nobody at those games in the beginning. And, the years of Bobby Wallace and those guys that won very rarely. We were the only guys hanging out there. But you know what? We always had a good time. We always supported the team. And, we're reaping the benefits for it now. I mean, it took long enough. But, not only this year. When Al was there, He kind of brought this program forward with, us going into the MAC, and granted the MAC, not the same conference as the American Athletic Conference, but, he kind of took us out of the doldrums and made us respectable again. So, we owe a lot to him. And now Matt is taking us forward. So, yeah, I mean, it's a big difference. I mean, to see what it is now with the fly-in and all that stuff and all the people that are coming out, and, God, you can only hope that we can keep this thing moving forward and get even better crowds.
And if they're going to want to keep this thing moving forward, they're going to need the head football coach and Matt Rule to stay around. There's a lot of reports out there that he interviewed for the Missouri job this past Sunday. Do you think Matt Rule will be the head football coach here next year?
Well, I hope so. And I'll tell you, I'm a little bit taken back by that because I would think that Matt is smart enough not to even interview for a job now. And I don't know if this is all speculation or hearsay that he interviewed for this job, but you've got a conference championship that you're preparing for this week. And I'm just saying, as a former player, if it was me and my head coach was interviewing for another job before the conference championship, I'm a little bit taken back by that. So, and I wouldn't be happy about it. I'm not happy about it. And I don't even know if the discussion took place between Matt and Missouri, but I'm hoping that it's not true because I just can't believe anybody would put themselves in that position to do that. But, I'm not a head football coach.
Yeah, and then that's the coaching carousel now. Everyone is looking for that big next job, and who knows if Matt will stay here. I hope he stays here, and I think he does have a real commitment to this university, and hopefully he is the head football coach here for many more years and opens up that football stadium that they're talking about building, and he's the guy that's on the sidelines. But let me just ask you this as we're on the topic of conversation. You've been around many coaches. You've seen how this has gone. You had Steve Adazia who left Temple, used it as a stepping stone job to get to BC. Just what is enough? Because if they go out there and they give Matt Rule, let's say they bump up his salary from $1.2 million now to $3 million, do you think that's enough for him to stay here at Temple and continue what he's building right now?
I do. But when is enough enough? Okay, so if you're getting paid $2 million a year, $3 million a year, $4 million a year, I guess, can you spend that kind of money? I'm taking guys by their word. When Adazio was here, Adazio, was like this was his dream job. Well, he was a wolf in sheep's clothing because that didn't happen. And Matt came in and Matt basically said the same thing. It was his dream job. So if you get another guy that leaves for a couple extra bucks, I got to say, hey, you were looking for a better opportunity, but I got to think that the university is going to buck up and pay him some more money. And I really, truly believe that he's happy here. I think that his family's happy here, and I'm not anticipating that he's going anywhere. But you know what? I'm just an ex-football player that's making a comment. I have no idea what's in his mind.
His wife also continued to work here at the university when he left for a year to go work with the New York Football Giants under Coach Tom Coughlin. So I hope he stays as well. I'm in the same boat as you, and it's going to be something definitely interesting to watch over the next few weeks, and hopefully Temple wins the conference championship game this Saturday and then goes off to a major bowl game. Will you be going to the conference championship game? Are you going to Houston this week?
I am not. And, I kind of jumped the gun last week, not realizing that Navy played Houston. So my wife and I had already booked a hotel with hotel points in Annapolis. So needless to say, I'm going to Annapolis and we'll be watching the game from down there.
You're going to Annapolis to watch this game. I think you may be the only Temple football fan in Annapolis watching that game, you and your wife. Are you going to be tailgated in there? It's just going to be you in a parking lot in a random hotel, Steve?
No, we're actually, I thought, and I really did believe that Navy would win that game. And, I just knew that the hotels were going to be booked, and I got probably the nicest hotel down there to stay in with only a few rooms left. So we booked it, and it is what it is.
I can only see it now. If you stay in that hotel to watch the game and order room service or something, that place is going to be thinking something's going terribly wrong in your room because you're going to be screaming so much on Saturday, going nuts. They may have to call security. You may want to give them a warning in advance, Steve.
Well, I'm going to have my cherry and white on, but I won't be in my hotel room. I'm going to be at some bar in downtown Annapolis.
Doing it right. All right, Steve Conjar, you're the best. We always appreciate you letting us come to your tailgates throughout the course of the season, and we'll continue to talk to you in the future. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Zach. Go Owls.